Hello everyone, this is Hadrian. Thank you for watching. It is May 22nd, 2016. Let's take a look ahead and talk about what's coming soon. If you are new to the channel, this video will give you a nice sneak peek of what's coming down the pipeline. And I've got a lot to talk about with this one, so stay tuned, strap in. There's a lot of information to be discussed. Whether you're new or not, if you're enjoying the content and would like to learn more about the channel, I invite you to watch my channel and community mini-series. Links on the screen right now and in the description below. A lot of you may have seen all of it finally go live this past week. The whole purpose of the series is to tell you guys more about some of the social media that I have set up so that if you use a particular social media, you can watch a video that's tuned specifically to the website that you care about. Or if you just want to learn more about how I run the channel, you can watch the whole series. If you'd rather watch it when you're done with this, the links will pop up at the end of this video. But if you just watch one video, watch the very first one, the one that says watch this first. It's short and it'll teach you a really neat trick you can use for this channel and for others to stay up to date. So before I go any farther, the last time I did a look ahead, it was late March, and I had just cleared 300 subscribers. Now I've just cleared 600. It's crazy. Welcome to the channel, everybody. I'm so happy you're here, and I hope you stick around to enjoy the content for months to come, maybe years. We'll see. I plan to keep on doing this. It's a really fun hobby. For those of you who don't know, I consider myself a part-time YouTuber. So it's something that I plan to continue to do in the future, even though it might not expand much farther than the type of structure you're seeing right now. As I tend to say in most of my videos these days, comments are always welcome. I have pretty much one rule for my YouTube comments, which is to be nice. If you're nice, even if you're being critical, I'm more than happy to talk to you. I'm sure you've noticed I reply to comments a lot, and pretty quickly, usually. My biggest goal with the channel is to build a thriving, positive community of gamers who enjoy games similarly to how I do. That's why I made the channel and community miniseries and asked you to watch it. I love the interaction. It would be great to hear from you, and increasing the footprint where everyone spends time, at least, giving you guys options for, social media that you want to use really helps with that. So again, welcome to the channel. Thank you very much for watching and for being here. So with this look ahead, I have decided on a change of format. Typically, I do this really organized discussion of what's coming up in the 12 p.m. slot, what's coming up in the 6 p.m. slot, but we have so much to talk about, and there are so many games that I want to include on the channel in the coming months that I'm dividing it up into two general sections this time: game discussion and channel discussion. Of course, game discussion still applies to the channel, and that I'm going to talk about games that I'm likely to play. So let's just give this a try and see what you all think. I need a lot of input, by the way, from my dedicated viewers in the channel discussion section. You may have noticed some poll links in the description, so please stick around to hear more about those. So, game discussion. Let's start with the big one, Civilization 6. I remember recording the initial episode of Civilization 5 and saying, you know what? I understand a lot of you are looking at me going, why the heck are you recording a new tutorial for Civilization 5 in 2016? And the answer was, I got a feeling Civ 6 is going to be announced soon. So people are going to be getting interested in the series, people who've never played Civilization before, when Steam sells Civ 5 complete for $12 down from $50 because of all the preparations that are being made for Civilization 6, and just they're trying to get people interested in it. People are going to be interested in Civ 5. So that's part of the reason I did the tutorial. Civilization 6 is likely to take over the noon slot when it arrives later this year. I'm warning you right now, for at least 2 series in a row, maybe even 3. I'm so freaking stoked about Civ 6, I cannot even explain it to you. So I've included some links in the description to the announcement teaser and where to find some relevant articles. So if you somehow missed the announcement and you would like to know more about Civilization 6, all kinds of stuff is waiting for you down in the description. Which reminds me, the look back video / request for questions on Civ 5's tutorial is still open and waiting for questions. I've got enough to go on there, but I'd just like to take my time with it. If you'd like to ask anything about that series or make any comments, please do so. I'm planning on making it partly about Civilization 6 as well, so I'd like there to be some Civ 6 related questions and discussion from you guys if you find the time. The link to the video is in the description. So that's Civilization 6. Of course, that's upcoming this year. Obviously, it's not right around the corner because the game's not out yet, so it's not like you can expect Civ 6 to be the very next series. The next game that I want to talk about is Stellaris from Paradox Development Studios. This is a science fiction grand strategy masterpiece that a lot of us have been waiting on for a long time, and I plan to play a series in it very soon. Like the next game that I'm going to talk about, though, I am waiting for a patch on Stellaris. First of all, I just want to be clear that, the game did come out. There have been some issues pointed out. I've enjoyed playing it, but they're planning on doing a pretty big version 1.1 patch at the end of the month. I believe they're calling it the Clark patch. They're naming all of their patches after famous science fiction authors, which I think is pretty cool. But after that, I'll probably look into doing a series. As many of you know, I have played with the idea of doing content in Paradox titles, Crusader Kings 2, Europa Universalis 4, for a long time, because I love the grand narrative potential that is present in those games. The issue is that they're so complex, they take a lot for me to learn, and I've just been concerned that I that I wouldn't be good enough, that I wouldn't be entertaining, basically. So what I did was I went to the forums, I went to Paradox Plaza, and I just asked. In the context of Crusader Kings 2, I just posted a message saying, hey, I have this channel. Crusader Kings 2 fits right in. I'm not very good. Do you guys care about that? And the answer overwhelmingly was no. Matter of fact, I got a lot of subscriptions, even though there's no Paradox content on the channel at all right now. People saw what I was saying. Hopefully, I came across as genuine, and they saw that. They came to the channel, they liked what they saw, and they subscribed before there's even content made by the developer that made the forum I was posting on. So that meant a lot to me. And if you're one of the people who came over from the Paradox Plaza and you're watching this, thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate you for being here and for having confidence in me. So what I'm going to do with Stellaris, that's not a tangent, I promise. That was all a setup for this. Because I am still learning how to play these Paradox Grand Strategy titles, I actually want to invite you guys on this journey with me. And I've already done a play test of what I'm about to describe to you, and it works and it's fun. It's different and it's interesting. I think it'll be a great way to ease myself into Stellaris. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series in a huge galaxy with minimal AI presence. I'm going to turn those sliders all the way down. All the way down. What that means is there will be no advanced AI starts, and there will be one other AI empire in the game somewhere in the galaxy. That does not mean that others will not pop up, because if you're a Stellaris player, you know that other civilizations are constantly discovering space travel. But it does mean that our empire will be the first. And so what this will do is, for those of you who enjoy city building games and empire building simulations, where the focus is on infrastructure and on the stories that develop from just building out your territory, as opposed to being in constant warfare, that's what the series is going to be about. It'll be focused on empire building, and I'm sure there will be a big war at some point, because like I said, that other empire will be out there somewhere, and if they're far away from us at the start, they'll be growing at the same rate we are. So it'll be a nice, relaxed approach to Stellaris. It's not going to be for everybody, but it's what I want to do. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be great. So feel free to leave me some feedback on that. I'm not absolutely convinced that that's the route I'm going to take, but that's what I'm strongly leaning toward, and I hope you are looking forward to it as much as I am. So the next game I would like to discuss is Master of Orion. As I kind of hinted at a moment ago, Master of Orion is in waiting for patch mode from me. Early Access 4 is supposedly right around the corner, and as soon as that comes out, I will find a way to squeeze in some Master of Orion content. Let me show you guys my schedule real quick so you understand, if you haven't been here very long, how I do extra series. So I have the 6 p.m. slot, which is survival, sci-fi, simulation, and the 12 p.m. slot, which is historical and grand strategy, running at all times. As those of you who have been here for a while know, I get very upset when I lose the ability to maintain those daily, or at least regularly. I got sick a few months back, and it was very frustrating, and I had to post an announcement. Blech, not fun. So I have these other slots. I have a wild card at 3 p.m. and a wild card at 9 p.m. Wild cards are for anything channel related, along the same vein of the stuff I already play, where I have time to squeeze in an extra series. Now, my time is going to be pretty limited over the next couple of weeks, but I'm not going to tell you when it's going to happen. But when Early Access 4 comes out, I'm just saying, pay attention, because as soon as I can, you're going to see one of these wildcard slots go live. Doesn't mean a permanent expansion. Again, these are kind of stretch slots. When I find that I have time for extra content, I'll do an extra series for you. So that's the way that works. So that's what I'm doing with Master of Orion. Now, as far as future series of Master of Orion, I want to continue to play Master of Orion as much as I can. I freaking love Master of Orion. It's one of my favorite strategy games in a long time, and based on some of the things I'm hearing out of the development studio right now, some of the changes planned for Early Access 4, they're just continuing to make the game deeper and better and richer and more amazing, and I can't wait to see what they have to show us. So, the next game I'd like to discuss is one that I actually received a request. Again, going back to the community and how much I love interacting with you guys. I put out a request when I planned to make this look-ahead video saying, hey, what would you guys like to hear? Didn't hear from a lot of you, but that's fine. Again, these social media outlets are still developing, and sometimes you guys probably just want to hear what's coming up. You don't necessarily need to tell me what to say because I cover so much ground in these normally, so I get it. But I did get a response when I asked, and one person said, hey, you mentioned in the comments that you weren't really planning on playing Total War Warhammer, but it would be nice if you talked a little bit more about why not. And thank you, by the way, very much to the commenter who suggested this, because I think that's a really good idea. So here's the thing with Total War Warhammer. I, first of all, have never played any Warhammer titles. I'm not familiar with the lore. Second of all, when it comes to Total War, let me kind of give you an idea of where I am as a fan of Total War. IGN, in their reviews of Total War Warhammer, said that this is what Total War was made for. I am one of those fans that bristles when they hear that. That gets angry. Because that statement, I feel, is not fair, really, to the historical strategy games that Total War has already been known for. I respectfully disagree with that comment from IGN's review saying that this is what Total War is made for. Total War is made for historical strategy. And I don't think there's anything wrong. I'm not the kind of person who's sitting here bashing Total War Warhammer. So please don't put me in that group just because I said that I don't like that quote. That would be wrong. That would be a mistake for you to do. I just am not that interested in playing it. And here's the thing, guys. I know that a lot of people want to see content in it, but you don't want to watch me play a game that I don't want to play. Trust me, you don't. So it's not going to be fun for either of us. So that's the main concern that I have. That being said, the reviews have been very good, which intrigues me. The reviews for Total War Attila were also very good. We'll have to see how the community reviews for Total War Warhammer are, because the Total War community is just, I love Total War games. The Total War community has gotten to this point where there are just so many trolls and haters and just people who are really vehemently hating on Creative Assembly and Sega's DLC strategy and all these things. And, you know, it's okay to have your opinion. I don't have an issue with people being upset with, you know, DLC strategies and the way DLC has become such a money sink in the past 5 years. But the extent of the vitriol that exists in the Total War community is, well, to put it in one word, it's toxic. So we'll have to see how that angry little community, or at least that angry portion of the community, I'm not saying that everyone in the community is awful. Of course not. I mean, there's so many great Total War fans that comment on my stuff here. But as usual, they get drowned out by this very vocal minority that is very negative. And so we'll have to see how that affects the reviews for Warhammer. But I will say that it's getting very good reviews. I will say that I bought it. I shouldn't have bought it. I didn't really have the money. But I bought it. And I will be playing it to try it because I feel like I owe you guys that much. I've got a lot of Total War fans here. The core of my channel in the past has been my Total War content. And I understand that, you know, people are going to want to see more. So this is not, for the record, my channel is not a Total War channel. But, you know, I respect the fact that a lot of you want to see Total War. So my duty, I think, to you guys is to at least get my hands on the game, try it, see if I like it, and then maybe consider doing a series down the line. I am not making any promises right now because, again, what I said up front is still true. Total War Warhammer is, I mean, it's getting great reviews, but I've never had any interest in playing it. Another thing is I have not followed any of the press because of that lack of interest. So if I played the game, I would have to learn everything about it. And apparently there are some new mechanics that I'd have to spend some time figuring out before I did a Let's Play. So that's Warhammer. Let me very quickly talk about Total War Rome 2 and Total War Attila. and Shogun 2 maybe as well. I've never really considered doing a series in Shogun 2, but these are some of the more last gen, or maybe you could still say current gen Total War titles that are popular and that people want to see content in. Doing a Total War series takes time. So I would like to continue to do series in Total War Attila and Total War Rome 2, and chances are you're going to see another one at some point. I just, by virtue of all the other games I'm talking to you about right now, anything that fits in the historical strategy slot, the noon slot, which I'm about to talk about some of those options. I already talked about Civilization 6. Newer games that are more interesting to me and more interesting to you are probably going to take precedence. So you can count on more Rome 2 and Total War Attila content in the future, more likely to be Attila than Rome 2, but still. I just think that, in general, you should expect that content when there's kind of a lull and after I've already kind of exhausted some of my options in other newer games. So that's that for Total War Rome 2 and Total War Attila. If you want me to clarify any of that, feel free to leave a question in the comments below. Crusader Kings 2 and Europa Universalis 4. Going back to what I was saying when I was talking about Stellaris, I really would actually like to do some Crusader Kings 2 and EU4 content. Ideally, at some point, I would like to do a series where I started in CK2 and then imported it when I finished into EU4. That would, of course, be a very long campaign, and given that I only release daily episodes, that would take a long time. So the logistics are challenging, and I don't know that I'll do it, but I do definitely want to start wading into some Paradox titles, especially given that overwhelmingly positive response that I mentioned from the Paradox community when I paid a visit to them. So you can expect some Crusader Kings 2. I would imagine in the historical strategy slot, Crusader Kings 2 very well might be the very next game I play after Eternal Empire ends. I don't want to promise anything. One thing I'm trying to do with this change of format is to dial back the certainty with which I was kind of laying out a schedule, like saying this is next and this is next, because I don't think that's as interesting for you guys. I think it's better to kind of keep myself and you in suspense as far as what series is going to be next, so that when each series ends, unless I've made a specific announcement, there's that kind of fun moment of, okay, what's going to play next, you know? I just think that's more interesting for everybody. But there's still a very good chance that Crusader Kings 2 will be the next series. And then I need to spend some time learning EU4, but everyone seems to love EU4, and I think I prefer EU4's war systems from what I know of them to Crusader Kings 2, because you can only take so many territories at once in Crusader Kings 2, and, you know, I'm a map painter. The type of player that I am, I like to paint the map. And games that make that easier on me, I tend to like a little bit more. Crusader Kings 2 really fights you on that, so it can be frustrating. But anyway, I'm keeping that in mind for the future. As for games that might be in the other slot, I'm not going slot by slot here, so in a second I might talk more about some other 12 p.m. style games. But No Man's Sky is coming out next month. Oh my goodness, there will be a series in this. No Man's Sky, if I can help it, will be a bonus series, or it might follow Against All Odds Season 2, depending on timing and how long I make it in Against All Odds. Of course, I've made it about 2 weeks in at this point. I'm almost 1/4 of the way that I made it in my original series. I would like to surpass that, but let's say I don't get lucky and I only make it to 50 episodes or so. That actually lines me up pretty well with starting a series in No Man's Sky around the launch of the game. So I've been looking forward to that game for a long time. If you don't know anything about it, I would be shocked if you didn't, but look it up. It's going to be fantastic. Also, as far as the 6 p.m. slot, Cities Skylines is something I would actually really like to play. I've been mentioning this in every single look-ahead video I have ever recorded. And it's not that I have just never gotten around to it, it's just that there's always been something more interesting, like more immediately like attention-grabbing to play. But Cities Skylines is very different from the type of content I've played on the channel in the past, and I think it would be a good diversity piece. It's also published by Paradox, the same company that develops some of these other games I've been talking about, so that's pretty cool. But Cities Skylines is probably my favorite city builder of all time, and you're talking to a kid that was raised on SimCity 2000, okay? So, and SimCity for the Super Nintendo. So, for me to say that Cities Skylines is my favorite of all time, I understand that carries gravity, and I mean it. It's fantastic, so I'd love to play a series in it at some point. Again, just to kind of diversify the content and change things up. Switching back briefly to the noon-type content, Civilization 5. You know, Civilization 6 is coming up. I sure would like to deepen my footprint in Civilization 5. So, if I don't do Crusader Kings 2 next, then I might do Civilization 5 next, or I might do Civilization 5 after Crusader Kings 2. I would like to do an actual Let's Play in Civ 5 as opposed to a tutorial. That'd be fun. I could up the difficulty a little bit, play on a randomized map, you know, just make things fun. I haven't really thought that far ahead on what I'm going to do with the series, but I would definitely like to do more Civ 5 in the future. And one more thing I want to throw out there really quick as far as Civilization 5 is concerned. I am still planning on recording a few more half episodes based on questions that are being asked in the tutorial. So if you're sitting here and you're still making your way through the tutorial, don't think that because I'm not posting Civ 5 episodes anymore that I'm not still open to questions. If there's something you feel that a half episode would be really good at explaining, something I didn't get to or something I didn't explain correctly, whatever it is, you guys know what the half episodes are about. I still want to record 1 or 2 or 3 more, so feel free to continue leaving questions and comments based on your experience with the tutorial and things that I might be able to add to make it as complete as possible. Another one that has come up repeatedly, and I even made channel art for this and was about to start a series, and then I had to stop because I had a hard drive failure, and I thought there was a problem with the game, but it was with the hard drive. Subnautica. Beautiful survival title. Underwater, hence Subnautica. Survival title that I've been meaning to play for a long time. As far as how I approach the game, I've been really kind of going back and forth on how I'll do this. It'll certainly be a 6 p.m. series when it comes out, but you know, the game allows you to play on a kind of long dark style permadeath mode where you only have 1 life. But to be honest, in Subnautica, dying instantly is a lot easier to do than it is in the long dark, in my experience. There are just things, especially when you get down to the deep portions of the game, that can just, that kill you. And you have to be very experienced at Subnautica. Very experienced. More experienced than I am in the long dark, relatively speaking, to play on hardcore mode. So what I might do is play on survival mode, which would basically give me multiple lives, and death wouldn't mean the end of the series. Or I might even play on freedom mode, which takes away the need to eat and drink. And I'm actually kind of leaning towards freedom mode because Subnautica has so much content in it that is just pretty to look at and is all about base building. I will have more than enough gameplay without having to worry about eating and drinking. I just feel like it would be a nice way to diversify it against the long dark content. It's not the long dark. It's very different from the long dark. So that's not me trying to be lazy. That's just me thinking in terms of how could I have the most fun and make it the most interesting and relaxing to watch. Because in a way, Subnautica is kind of a relaxing game to play, even though it's still intense. Long Dark is not relaxing. Subnautica has a relaxing, aesthetically pleasing element to it that I want to honor with the way that I play the game. So might play in Freedom, might play in Survival, probably not going to play on Hardcore. But that's that. Feel free to leave your comments below. Matter of fact, I think I'll start a straw poll for that just to give people additional stuff to talk about. So I'll talk more about the channel-related straw polls as I get to them, but that's coming up in just a few seconds, so hang tight. And then, of course, I want to talk briefly about The Long Dark. Against All Odds Season 2 is going very well. I will probably do a challenge, like a brief challenge series or two as bonus series as soon as I can. The thing is, and the reason I've waited so long to mention this, I just don't know when I would get to that considering the other bonus series that I'm doing. I have a lot to do this summer, work-wise. So it's not like I'm going to have all this free time for just to record additional Long Dark content. I wish I did, because if I did, I would have recorded stuff the moment the Tireless Menace patch came out, but I don't have that kind of free time. So what we'll do is, when I have a moment, I will keep that in mind, and I will try and record some challenge series for The Long Dark, because I think that would be fun. I haven't played the challenges at all. At all. It's crazy. So there's that. And then finally, Planet Base. Planet Base has been an interesting wheelhouse title for me. It is, I consider it one of my wheelhouse titles. Even though it's not nearly as popular as an Eternal Empire or an Against All Odds or a Master of Orion series, people tend to find it after the fact and really like it. And I plan to release some additional content that's just wrapping up the previous series, getting all the way to the final milestone of 300 colonists, which I never actually did. So some of you have been saying, yeah, that would be really cool if you just wrapped up that series. You called it because the colony was established and that was the whole goal, but you didn't go all the way to 300 because it just, honestly, the reason I didn't is I felt that it would be monotonous, but some people were like, no, do it. I want to see you make it. So that's what I'm going to do at some point. So now let's talk about the channel, and then we'll be done. So the very first thing that I want to talk about with the channel is information that I don't have. YouTube gives its content creators a ton of metrics to play with so you can understand how your channel's doing on a daily and even hourly basis. It's pretty cool. But there's certain information that that's not really accessible to YouTube, but I want to get it from you guys. So I would like to announce, starting with this look ahead, the creation of an ongoing straw poll. I'm going to start this one now, but I'm going to talk about it every look ahead for the foreseeable future because I want people to continue to vote in this. Please only vote once. I'm going to turn it on to where you can only vote once per IP address, but if you hop around to multiple computers, do me a favor and just only vote once because statistically speaking, I do want to have a good sample, and that means I can't use straw poll. I can't actually go through the straw poll data and find duplicates, you know, and if you post from multiple IP addresses, even if I could go through the data, I wouldn't be able to find the duplicates in there. So because there'd be different IP addresses, I wouldn't know that it was you both times. Don't vote more than once. That's the moral of that story. Please don't vote more than once. But the poll's question is, how did you hear about the channel? Was it word of mouth? Was it Twitter? Was it Facebook? Was it a suggested video on YouTube after you finished watching one video? Was it a Reddit post of mine? Was it on Steam? Or was it something else? And if it was something else, by the way, other than those things, let me know as soon as you can, because I might just relaunch the poll with your suggestion included as an option. Otherwise, I'll just kind of have an other, and you can leave me a comment on this video and on future videos if you want to explain what the other is, and I'll take it to heart. So that's one thing that I would really, really, really like to know from you guys. And so I would appreciate it if you would just let me know how you're hearing about the channel. I want to know where the majority of people are coming to the channel from, and I don't have that information. I think it's Reddit. But if it's YouTube, if you guys are just finding your way here from watching YouTube videos, then that's really good. It means I don't have to do as much external stuff, even though I'll probably continue to do it. But having that perspective is very helpful to me. So please fill out that poll when you're done watching this. It's very quick. It takes no time. You just go to straw poll, click an answer, and you're done. You don't have to have an account or anything. Straw poll is very, very easy. So the next order of business is, look, like I mentioned, last time I did a look ahead, I was at 300 subscribers. Now I'm at 600. At this rate, next time I do a look ahead, I'll be at 900, which means we need to start talking about 1,000 subscribers. I'd like to do something special when I hit that milestone. A lot of you have been here for a long time. I've said in previous look ahead videos that I wish I could sit down and just mention all of you by name, you know, just how awesome each and every one of you is. But ultimately what would happen there is just there would be more new subscribers showing up, and I feel like I would talk about some people but not others, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, and I don't want anyone to feel left out, and I certainly don't want to accidentally leave anyone out, so I can't do that. But you guys know how much I appreciate you, and I want to give everyone an opportunity to have some input into how we celebrate 1,000 subscribers. So if you have any suggestions, I'm open to them right now. Obviously, it'll be something that I'm happiest with at the end of the line. It's my party. But I would love to hear your thoughts on what would be fun to do to celebrate hitting 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. Next, the building effects mod that oh, hey, look, I got a comment. Oh, no, it's an invite. We'll talk about that in a second. The building effects mod has been released. This is the one that I use in Eternal Empire. It's got a bunch of subscribers already. It's awesome. I've got a full description of it that I spent a lot of time typing up just to make sure it has a professional presentation, and the mod's just done really well. So if you have been interested in downloading that mod, you need to hop over to Steam and download it from the workshop. Just look up Hadrian's Building Effects. It's right there. I will be tweaking it after Eternal Empire is finished, so get it now so you can give me feedback and be one of the people that help shape what the next version of it will do, because I definitely want to make things maybe a little tougher with building effects without getting it too close to the vanilla difficulty level. So speaking of things on Steam, I want to talk also about friend requesting me on Steam. As a result of this popular mod, I have started to get probably one friend request a day or so. You just saw another one right there. I generally don't add people that I don't feel like I know. And it says this at the top of my profile. Believe me, it says it. You can go check if you want to. So I just wanted to put this on the table. If I recognize your name, but you're new to the channel and haven't commented a lot, or especially if I don't recognize your name, please don't be offended if I don't accept your friend request. I'm not saying not to friend request me, but I'm just telling you I'm probably not going to accept it. It's nothing personal. I have to control as much as I can the number of people who can DM me on Steam. So just know that I'm getting these friend requests on Steam. If I've already rejected yours and you're sad about it, or maybe you're not, but like I feel badly that I'm rejecting these requests, but it's for a reason, but it's not a personal reason. It's nothing against you. It's just, if I don't know who you are, if I don't feel like you've been interacting with me for a while, that's not a friend request that I'm going to consider. So that's that. And the last couple of items are more technical in their nature, but I want to just kind of let you guys know about a few things and also do one more straw poll. So let me be real for a moment. As many of you know, I, in my day job, am a graduate student. I'm getting a PhD. It's a little bit crazy for me to be running a YouTube channel while I'm going for a PhD, but I'm not the kind of person who just dials it to 11 and am constantly doing just one thing. I'm the kind of person that needs a hobby. And when I didn't have a hobby, when I didn't have a creative outlet, I was actually suffering in my program that I'm going through right now because I was trying to be a person that I'm not. I was trying to be one of those people that was just doing research all the time. And it doesn't work for me. I run out of steam because I don't have a creative outlet. So one of the things that I have realized as a result of trying to manage this YouTube schedule while also being a graduate student is I sometimes stress myself out trying to do all this stuff. Running the YouTube channel has actually allowed me to structure my free time in a way that I actually feel better about my work-life balance, if you will, to use a term from the fields that I'm studying. I feel better about my work-life balance when I'm doing my YouTube stuff, but there are times where I feel it gets off kilter because of how much work it can be to maintain the channel. So here is what I need to do. I need to build in a type of announcement, and the best way to stay on top of this announcement would be to watch the first short video of the channel and community miniseries that I mentioned earlier in the look ahead. Watch that so you can learn how to get notifications of announcements. But I would do an announcement video, and I would say, hey, I'm going to half schedule for the foreseeable future. And what half schedule means is there will still be daily videos, but they will alternate. One day, the grand strategy, historical strategy slot will fire, and the survival simulation sci-fi slot will not. The next day, it's the opposite. You'll get a 6 p.m. video, but not a noon video. Next day, you'll get a noon video, but not a 6 p.m. video. Basically, it cuts the time that I'm required to spend recording each week to maintain a full schedule in half. And it allows me to tell you guys that that's going to happen, so no one, hopefully, is surprised. And then, of course, you would know when it's over because all of a sudden the slots would click back into place and you'd have daily videos in both again. So I wouldn't have to announce that. That would announce itself, kind of. But I'm going to have to do that. I'm not going to do it now, but I just want you guys to be aware that especially in a few years when I'm working on my dissertation, there are going to be times where I don't have a lot of time for the channel. That's just going to be true. There's going to be times where I don't respond to comments as much. I hate thinking about that. I really do, because you know how much I like talking to you. But there will be times where I have got to do what I've got to do. So I would much rather, be able to be flexible with the channel, and reduce how much I'm putting out content-wise, but be honest about it with you guys. I'd much rather do all that than consider not doing it at all, which is not something I'm willing to think about at the moment, because I think it's more helpful to me to have this hobby and to have this outlet than not. So there's that. And lastly, I actually want to talk to you guys about the frequency of these very videos. As you know, it's been a couple of months since I released one of these. Last month, I was crazy busy and I just didn't get around to doing a look ahead. And I feel bad because I've been saying since the beginning, I want these to be monthly. But here's the question. I've covered a lot of ground in this look ahead video. So in a way, it's richer and there's more to watch and there's more to discuss. Do you like it this way? Should I maybe just do them every 2 months? Or maybe should I keep it to monthly to where there's not as much to talk about every time? Food for thought. I'm kind of mulling that for the moment, so bear that in mind for me. If you have an opinion on that, just check the straw poll link below and let me know what you think, monthly or every other month. So that is it for this May 22nd look ahead. Thanks very much for watching. If you got through all of this, you are truly one of the most dedicated watchers that I have, because this is a long look ahead. It's going to take me a while to edit too, but I'm going to get on that now. Again, I appreciate you very much for being here. New subscribers, if you got through all of this, thank you very much, because you haven't been here as long as some of these other folks, and for you to be here and listen and want to pay attention to what's going on with the channel means a lot to me, and it shows me that you care and that you want to be a part of this in the future, which, again, my entire goal with this is not to amass 500,000 subscribers. My goal is to amass an awesome community of people, regardless of how many that is. Anyway, thanks for being here. The links to the channel miniseries, as well as subscribing to the channel if you're somehow not subscribed and you've gotten all the way through this video, are on the screen right now. And I will see you all next video.